everybody, and welcome back. We're in the second segment of the celebration of the 150th anniversary of the St. Joseph Church in Cooperville. And we're not in Cooperville now. No, there it is, says it. We're at the Shazy Recreation Park on the North Farm Road. The beautiful park here in the town of Shazy, which they make available to groups throughout the area. Charge or not, I do not know, but they're having a Cooperville Church, St. Joseph Church picnic. And we've come for a few minutes. Calvin Castine's busy today at other things, and this is Bob Venn going to bring you a little bit more as we talk to Shan Moore, Father Cody, and whoever is here. Stay tuned. We are at the pavilion. People are under, some of them are under, some are not. And we're just going to get a few pictures before we talk to somebody. People were getting ready to eat, and we don't want to get them, obviously, with food in their mouth. But these are some of the people who came. There's not a big crowd, but there's an enthusiastic crowd, and they're all very glad to be here. Most of the people who've been to Cooperville Church over the years are more elderly now, or not at all. And there's Gerald Mayo. We don't know if he was a Cooperville Church person, but he's a supervisor for the town of Champlain and probably was invited because it's in the town of Champlain, and I'm sure he maintains their road so they can get to church in the wintertime. Well-known local supervisor doing a great job in the town of Champlain. Very enthusiastic and very interested. Spends many, many hours both at the town offices and throughout the town. Always willing to lend a hand, personally as well as representative of we people who live in the town of Champlain. But there's a small building here where you can purchase food or what have you here that's run by, I think at one time it was the Lions Club, but I could be wrong on that. As Calvin would say, I've been wrong before. Not about him, about me. He's in Altona today, getting ball games that he was committed for. He's also said I should be committed. Gerald Mayo, he consented to talk to us, reluctant as he is, of course. Gerald, I asked you that question off camera. Why are you were invited? What's the big deal with Cooperville?
Well, I delivered most of these people's mail for 32 years in St. Joseph's Church. I was there, I'm Father Denorier. I'm trying to recall all the priests that I served. I used to take care of their missalettes. That was one thing that I always did for them.
Well, so that's why our supervisor is here. Have you started to eat yet?
Oh yes, I've been around twice.
You bet.
See?
Thanks very much, Gerald.
Okay, Bob.
Where's right here, Shan Moore on the right, Shan Brown Moore, and Father Cody, Norman Cody. Father or Nancy, who's going to start us? Tell us how your day is going.
Well, we're excited because we had a wonderful turnout.
Beautiful turnout.
And the weather straightened out. Just this morning when I was at my lowest ebb and the cake wasn't working and nothing was working, all of a sudden the sun came out and it was a message. It was only out for a minute, but it was a message. And it was correct because this has been a wonderful occasion.
Very good. Well, it certainly didn't look that way last night at 6 o'clock, did it?
Or during the night.
And the forecast, too, were not good for today, but everything has gone well.
And lightning didn't strike the church again, even though there was quite a storm.
And you're going to have to talk loud because I don't have a separate mic, and you got people in the background. Okay, so have you any idea how many people turned out for the day?
Well, when we look at this roster...
Make sure you got them all signed.
Well, I think so.
Well, we fed people, I think at least 100 hamburgers.
Okay.
But I would say that there must be some 100 125 people.
Okay, very good turnout. You got a lot of advertising in the different papers.
Yes, we had great coverage from the papers and hometown cable, and so it's been wonderful.
Okay, well, we're going to be, I guess, seeing you later on again to continue this, but we wanted to at least drop in and see the people who are here.
Can you take this?
I sure can. Which one?
What
Yes.
Suzanne Moore just gave us?
Just a second. Here, well, I stand at the bottom or the top?
Let's start with this one.
Right there. Okay, just a second. Tell what that is.
That's the church prior to the prior to 1904. We don't know when the picture.
Oh, that's the one. That's not the one across the street.
No, that's the original stone church.
Okay.
Same site as it is now.
Before
but
you made it.
notice that the steeple is different.
Yes, it is. Okay.
See, yeah, before the steeple fell.
Yeah.
And then here, it's when it fell.
There's the steeple.
Last day of February in 1904, the steeple fell through the roof.
All right.
Following a windstorm.
And then the one right there.
We had a fire in 1934, and you can see the steeple's gone there.
Yes.
And the interior was destroyed.
And then we've got a brand new steeple there. It says St. Joseph's Church in Coopersville, 1844 to 1894.
1994.
I'm sorry, 1994, 150 years. Of course, that's not as long as it's been there. There were churches before.
That's correct.
Across the street, and there's the church as it is today. Now, if we only had underground wires in front of the church, it would look so much nicer.
That's true, but
You didn't have those wires in the others, see? Or different position.
I don't think we like to go back to that time.
No, we don't. All right, there's the three, and that's Father. What do you think so far, Father? Everything's going well?
Everything is going perfectly.
I
must say.
Have you any other celebrations officially?
Yes.
You want to tell us when those are going to be?
I guess concerning our historical marker.
Okay. Oh, yes, the one that Mr. Bayshard and
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Bayshard are buying.
Ed and Bev Bayshard are donating that to the church, and we're hoping to have a dedication.
A blessing of it,
Yeah.
and then maybe with a mass or something.
Uh-huh.
And I have spoken to the bishop, but we don't know if he'll be free to come yet, but he didn't rule it out.
Okay, so you can't give a date on that because you got to wait till it gets here.
And yes, probably end of October into November, maybe.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me on this gorgeous day that opened up for you?
We'd like to thank everybody who brought food and who came today and who helped put up the museum. Ed and Beth Bayshard provided a lot of artifacts for our museum, and it's very nice. And we can't thank everybody personally. There's been too many.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Where is your museum? On the other
Right up
wall.
there.
Okay,
You'll
I've got to go over there and see
We
that.
have a sample historic marker on the wall that you might want to look at. It won't be quite like that, but
Okay,
similar.
very good. Anything, Father?
No, except like I say, you can go over there, and if you want to look at the old antique desk that they used to use.
Okay.
And the pupils, they'll be over to your right as you go over.
All right.
I think you'll be like that. Another one you should take a picture of is the old milk can that we have here.
Okay.
And I think it'll be interesting to see what they used to have back in the 30s and whatever.
Oh, and it wasn't that far, Father. I used those too, you know, way
Yeah,
back.
but you were way back in the 20s, weren't you?
I'll talk with you now, Shan. Thank you very much.
Bob,
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bob.
Eat some food, Bob.
I'll have a hot dog.
Okay.
This table could tell me how excited and how upset that Shan was this morning. Who's going to start?
Well, she was.
You going to start? You got to tell us who you are. Give us your name first.
I thought she was gonna like throw the cake.
Wait a minute. Who's talking? Who's talking? You are right here. Tell me again. All right, Miss Moore. Which day?
I said I thought she was gonna throw the cake across the room.
She wouldn't do things like that. Would?
Yes, she would.
You mean throw it across the room again? All right. What else happened? She did something to you too?
She backed over my bike today.
Dashed over your bike.
But
It
it's okay.
wasn't on purpose.
Okay. Was the bike or the car there first?
The car.
The car. So someone parked your bike behind her car.
Someone, yeah.
I wonder.
We don't know who that
No.
was.
No, we don't have any idea.
Mr. Moore gets around and keeps parking bikes. So you want to tell me anything about Mom?
No, actually.
As much as I would like
Right.
this to be my son, this
We're
is
not really.
Pat Beef. He's a friend of the family.
Yeah.
Pat who?
Beef.
Oh, yes, I know. And he is the champion
Dancer.
dancer with his sister in New York City. And congratulations again. I'm serious about this. They can laugh, but I think it's outstanding, and that you even had your picture taken for the paper.
Yep.
Great.
Shows some enthusiasm, finally.
No, they aren't going to look at me. And over here we have what's your name? I won't hear that here. Again? Okay. There, the young people are here also. Not only the old ones like Ed Bayshard and Father Cody. They got some young ones here too. The relic from the past, the old milk cans that held 80 pounds of milk. I think it was 80 pounds. We used to toss those in and out of the cold water with the ice. And you see the number right there, number 2. Each farm had their own number, and that's the way they were identified when they were picked up. And it says right here, looks like a donation for the picnic. And thanks. They got a hole in the top. That hole wasn't in the regular milk can. The old relic from the past. That father said I should remember from the 20s. Open food booth, but it's not. It's really a display of some of the pictures and items, and here's a replica of the sign that will appear in front of the church, donated by Mr. and Mrs. Edward Bayshard. St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church. This marker is to signify first land deed for a Roman Catholic church in Clinton County, September 27th, 1821. Original structure built 1818, stone church erected 1844, a gift of Mr. and Mrs. Ed Bayshore, 1994. And Shan is with us again, yes.
Bob, you want to videotape these children sitting at these school desks because they are related to the Fosiers who went to the one-room school in Coopersville.
Okay, very
Wave,
nice.
everybody.
Did you have this in any parade? I didn't notice it.
No, Ed Bayshard put this together for us today.
Isn't that nice? Uh-huh. Where are your school books? Are you studying hard?
Who can spell cat? Raise your hand.
Oh, very good.
she's so
Well, who are
smart.
these people? Going to tell us? Let's start right over there in the front. Tell me your name, the one on the right. Right. What's your name? What is your name?
That's Lindsay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and?
Laura.
Laura who?
Fine.
Okay, and you are at your school desk. You know who made those school desks?
I have no clue.
This lady right here. Shan Moore is the one that constructed those desks many, many years ago.
Yes, when I used to be old.
Well, thank you. Very nice.
Careful,
And here's some
Laura.
pictures here. What are the pictures down below?
Now, this gentleman is Frederick Moores. He lives in Plattsburgh.
Oh, Moores.
Right,
Yes.
and he lived in Coopersville and in the early 1900s. His father owned Moore's Store, which is the White House on the southwest end of the bridge on 9B. The White House that's right down at the water. That was Moore's Store. And then later on, he purchased a building directly across the bridge on the southeast corner. Right now is a vacant lot which belongs to Andy West, and he made his store there. And you can see a picture of the store that once was there over on the right.
Father.
Well, you're not on camera right now.
And
Would you move that picture, get it out of that shade for me, please?
It's taped.
Mr. Moore.
It's
Oh, it's taped. Okay, well, I'm getting shade. The best we can do.
here
There we go.
And
All right.
Mr. Moores is holding brass keys in his hand that went to this building on the
Right?
right.
Yes.
And upstairs in the hall in this building, they used to have all sorts of church functions.
Okay, we're sorry we can't do better here, but these are taped to the bottom and there's a shadow being cast on it. Okay, we got where we could of it. And we'll go back onto what does the little plaque say here? What is this ball? What is this? Croquet ball?
No, I think that is a cannonball.
Oh, I can't, all right.
Found while plowing the field at the mouth of the Great Shazy River in Coopersville by Edward Bayshard.
Oh-ho.
It's a cannonball.
Well, it was back in his time anyway.
Yes,
and
that's right.
look at the musket here.
The musket belonged to Charles Hancock, to whom we are indebted for a lot of the information we have about Coopersville because of the diary he kept in the 1880s, 90s, and early 1900s.
Probably no relative of John Hancock, but
We do not
interesting nevertheless. And this is the Cooperville School District number 9.
Right.
Remember the school was centralized in about 1940 or 41.
Right.
And they all started at the new Champlain Central School in 41 or early 42.
Yes, but this school closed earlier.
Yes.
And they hired, let me see what the name is. Ephraim Fozier Jr. had a 9-passenger car, and in 2 trips he could take all the children from Coopersville to school in Champlain.
Uh-huh.
And that was the first school bus, Ephraim Fozier's car.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Thanks.
If you remember when we were in front of the church earlier in this program, Ed and I and some of the others were talking about the Chazy Hall where they had their dances, and this is it right here. It was just north of the church on the opposite side of the road, on the riverside. There is pre-Vatican II. The church had the altar rail in Cooperville. And there's a picture of the new look up above. From outside, looking from the north, heading south, we can see the church. And this is an air view from the river. There's the river looking in a northeasterly direction, the church in the center, cemetery on the left, and in the foreground, the old cemetery, and the rectory behind the tree. Taken more recently. And here's a more up-to-date picture also, with the new steeple. St. Joseph's Catholic Church, Cooperville, New York. Earlier in the program at our gathering, and he's here to make a confession. He's going to go to confession to Father Bob Venn right here. What is it you want to tell us, Chudley?
Well, Mrs. Moore was telling me that she was reading a clipping out of the old paper that said that my sister Norma was the one that saved the Holy Eucharist out of the church when the church burnt in 1934. And I was pretty sure that it was my sister Ina that did that, Ina Fozier, Ina LaValle. And I just want to make that correction because the first time they made that announcement in the paper, she was a little upset that they didn't have the paper right. So I'm making it right now.
And who is it for sure?
Ina, you were the one that took it out of church.
Okay, now you can return to the family functions on these weekends.
Yes.
Chudley Fozier, graduate of Champlain Central and from Cooperville, graduated 1951. Correct?
That's right.
That's it. Yep. Boy, is he an old person.
Old.
Thanks, Chudley.
Okay.
And it says something about Charles Hancock. Could you read that for me, Father?
Charles Hancock, wife of Addie and daughter Lottie. And here,
yes,
you'll see there, from the Journal of Charles B. Hancock, Coopersville, February 28, 1904. This forenoon, it was very bad, south wind that blew very hard, and the snow flew, and it blew hard enough to blow the steeple from the Catholic Church here, and it went through the roof of the church. If you'll notice a lot of the spelling, I don't know where they got it, or if it was a spelling of those days.
I'm sure they copied it exactly.
And then here to see the town correspondent, Coopersville. So the steeple of the old Catholic Church of Coopersville was blown down by the windstorm of Saturday. A year ago, they lost their parsonage by fire. We feel sure that their pastor, Reverend N.W. Bergeron, will see to it that the steeple goes back on the old temple, which is a monument to Catholicity in the valley of Champlain. The Cooperville Church was built 70 years ago, and it was all renewed by the present pastor 4 years ago. We grieve with our Catholic friends and assure the Reverend N.W. Bergeron to give a helping hand, same as we did in the past.
What you're looking at on the screen is the building of the swing bridge at Cooperville, and that's the former Hector Béchard home in the background. It was the Cleveland residence at that time, and then later Pete, and now presently it's Pete and Barb Menard's home. And we're going to get another picture of just the home. There it is. It's on the northwest corner just as you cross the bridge going west. And there's a picture looking toward Coopersville with their house on the left, and you can see the opening in the middle where the bridge was during that picture. Here's another picture, and this one has a very apt caption under it: "A canal boat in trouble at Coopersville." And I would say that is real trouble. You can see the bridge in the background. It was a steel bridge, and it must have got into the bridge, and they hadn't swung it yet.
And the boat seems to be capsized.
It sure is. Peruse this family picture, which says the Bayshard family, and it has to be the Bayshards when you got that many in one place, and they're all one family. It's in Cooperville someplace. We don't recognize the buildings at this point. Bayshard family, Cooperville. This is the rectory with the porch upstairs. I think that's no longer there. There's no longer a porch upstairs like that.
No, that's the old rectory.
That's before the burning, pre-1902.
Yeah.
In December 1st, 1902, the Journal of Charles Hancock Cooperville, Louis Dupree moved from our little house to the priest's house at the church. December 14th, 1902, the house where the priest lived, the parsonage burned last night. Louis Dupree lived in that house, and they lost all their goods, or most of them, and they were there less than 2 weeks. December 14th. This is an interesting picture because it shows the Cooperville train station right along the D&H tracks in Cooperville that was closed back in the 1930s sometime. And I have never seen a picture of it before. I think it's completely gone now, or was moved off its location. The items on the wall is a pamphlet giving the history of the Cooperville Church, and one of the people who was involved in that is right here, Betty Laura. Betty, what can you tell us about your pamphlet booklet?
We did this on the bicentennial year. There was quite a few of us that worked on it. We basically went through a book by, I think it was Sister Christine Taylor. It gave us a lot of the background history of the church and a lot of other information. It even goes so far as to tell you that the stones for the new church came from the farmers' fields over on Kings Bay, some of the Bayshard farmers. And the interesting thing, while we were doing this, Father Joe Trombley had a knock on the door, and we had a gentleman that came, and he was looking for a cemetery plot of a family member, and he was telling us about it. He was from California, and the gentleman was Bing Crosby's secretary, which it floored us. We were astounded, and we had a nice little conversation with him.
Should have got the autograph for that book, but you didn't have it done.
Well, if he'd have been a little bit closer to Bing, maybe we might have done something. But it was very interesting in working on it and going through it. There was a lot of, Father Joe did a lot of work on it. Lori Ann Prue did some translation from the French to the English because some of the old records were in French. I had the honor, I guess you would call it, of doing all the typing on it, and Father Joe put it together, and it was quite successful. We sold a lot of copies, and it was our little contribution to the bicentennial.
Do you remember anybody else who worked on the committee? Are their names in the book or anything?
Yeah, there are names.
I'd like to hear their names.
Okay. We also, that was the year we did the float, the replica of the church.
Right.
And Bruce West drew the blueprints to scale. Mr. Emil Prue, who'd been a parish member for years, did the church model. He built it. Perry Sample did our metal roof that was on the church. Christine Bradley, who was a parishioner, did the painting of the windows so they looked like they were stained glass. Larry and Norma Barcombe donated the astroturf, and Roger Prue furnished the platform and the hitch, and he used his car for bringing it into parades. Norman Jolliker furnished and prepared the trailer. Joan Connolly also helped with the typing. We had a big parish auction that year. We had a parish picnic and raffle that year, and they all helped to offset some of the costs and put some money in the funds to do more things at church.
Thank you very much, Patty. This is Richard Loran just telling us the history of that booklet, and there'll be a new one being written now and be set up by Shan Moore. If you don't have your copy already, talk with Shan or Father and get your name on the list.
And it'll be in more detail than this one.
Okay, and that'll be it here from the Shazy Recreation Field. A little bit more on the Cooperville Church. Thanks, Betty.
Thanks, Bob.
You know, if you're watching on TV, you know where it comes from.
Don't keep doing me.
He surprised us with, you want cake, Mom?
Got out, but I was told to check the horses out. There's the pony and the horse right here at the recreation field, belong to the Moores. I don't know whether Shan drove this here today and rode. And I think this guy right here brought the horse. He didn't have a bicycle anymore. I think she traded him the horse for the bike. What are the horses' names? Say that louder.
Iron and Queenie.
Oh, good going. Thank you very much, Mr. Moore.
Father?